Yeah. Yeah.
Then they decided to do something
outside
of
Not
anyway.
like once a month.
So,
yeah.
I work for the business school.
So yeah, I do like programs.
I don't know.
Great. I can do it from home. I don't. I just go in and help.
Yeah.
We might be here. Yeah, I worked there for.
I don't dare return the lunch
Right.
So in case you change your mind. I understand.
This one is like your first dance when you let her use.
Yeah, some of that, and then we then we're gonna like go with like decide to when. So we can use like when you did the switch.
Every time.
It's a freshman program, so it's more just like showing them what the take and how to operate and like what different jobs are like to do.
Sorry that there is a reality that it's really important.
Yeah, and so.
I don't think I met you when I sat next to you at church today.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Thank you. He went to school. You know what? Bye bye all of us.
We are okay with kids stuff. You just be in the hour because that's where mom and dad are at this time usually, so damn.
So it's like,
Okay, sisters, I think we're gonna go ahead and get started. Even though our numbers are few, we may be few, maybe we're mighty, I hope. Let's see. Okay, so for announcements, just a reminder, primary program is October 24th. And we have our ward fall social is gonna be on Saturday, October 23rd. So look for more information about that to be coming soon. We're gonna do a neighborhood walkabout. So we'll get more information to you about that as we have it. And then let's see, other than that, just a reminder for teachers, we're gonna have teacher training coming up. And that's gonna be, I think for us on November the 14th. So, or no, we'll be, I think on the 21st, sorry. Yeah, so just be ready. Since you're the only teacher here, just be ready. Get excited about it.
something in November.
But yeah, anyway, those are all the announcements that we have. And so just turn the time over.
All right, well, I hope you guys are in the mood to talk a lot, because there's not a lot of people, and I don't want to talk the whole time.
Oh, wait, sorry, I do
No,
this
you're
every
fine.
time. We do have a guest and I remembered. Tell us who you are. Sorry, I noticed.
Sharon Robinson.
Oh.
Tanner Robinson's daughter.
Oh, so great to meet you. Can I just say, sorry, I'm just gonna take
No,
5
please
seconds.
take us more than 5
To-
seconds.
To say how kind your son is. So he happens to have the same birthday as my son. And he turned 7, and your son showed up at our house on his birthday and was like, "This is a very big day, dude." He's like, "You know why today is a big day?" And my son was like, "Well, I have a basketball game tonight." And he was like, "Okay, no, but yeah, great." But he's like, "But why is it such a big day?" Finally, my son was like, "It's my birthday." He's like, "It's our birthday." And so it was really cute, and he brought him a little treat. That was so incredibly thoughtful and so kind. So I just think your son's just tremendous. So hats off to you for raising such a great boy.
Thank you. All right, so the conference talk that we'll be talking about is Pressing Toward the Mark by Elder Edward Dube. I think I said Dube right? I don't know. He's an African man that has a really strong accent, if that helps. Anyhow, and so pressing toward the mark, and it seems like it's been a common theme in conference talks lately, finding joy amongst like the difficulties. I think it's a theme we'll continue to hear about maybe next week. And I've been thinking about difficulties lately and just kind of how it's kind of the common thread that ties us all together. It doesn't matter like our religion, our race, our socioeconomic background, our gender, anything, our marital status, anything like that. It's we all have difficult things, and they're probably more similar, our difficulties, than we realize. Even if we come from, different backgrounds or anything, and it connects us. But we don't have very many people, but I'd like to kind of flip it. And actually, I'm going to put you all on the spot. I hope you guys are okay with that. I want you to answer this question of just, what are you looking forward to? It can be something that is coming up today, this week, next year, next month, just something you're looking forward to. I'm looking forward to a Diet Coke later today. And also my couch is coming this week that we ordered at the beginning of May. So I'm very excited to have a couch to sit on. Let's see. And I'm also looking forward to a day off on Friday because it's parent-teacher conferences this week. So those are my things I'm looking forward to. Would anyone like to start what they're looking forward to? Something they're looking forward to? Thank you, Lauren.
Yes, I don't know if I'm like anxious about it or looking forward to it. Colin and I are taking both of our little boys to Disneyland on Thursday.
Oh, that's so fun.
I hope it's fun. I'm also going to be really bad.
Just don't have really high expectations and it will be fun. That's what I've learned, like traveling with kids.
Yeah.
Like, just go with the flow and let it be what it is.
Yeah. I don't want all the rides that I want to go.
Yeah, it's different. It's different with littles.
Yeah.
But it's still but it's magical because you can see it through their eyes. How fun. Okay, anyone else? Something they're looking forward to? Okay, thank you. Rochelle, are you next?
I'm looking forward today, where Carl and I are going to one of our young people to sit him, or ordain him as a high priest. And I think that's pretty great. He's been called to it by council. So I think that's sweet. I am looking for a day when we don't have to wear masks. I look forward to a trip that we are planning at the end of October to take my mom to Maine to show her where her family has she's from.
Oh, fun. That's awesome.
Okay, so my sister is about a month away from having her son. So
fun.
yeah, so it's so fun. We're so excited because my family, we're all girls. It's so fun. Like it's just her and me, and then I have two girls, and then she has one girl, and now finally
A boy, the first boy.
So we're super excited, and that's probably gonna happen in about a month.
Oh, that boy's gonna have so many mothers.
But
That's
they're
good.
in Texas, so
Oh, okay.
not so close, but I'm excited to go there.
Oh,
I'm
how
going there in
exciting.
December to meet him. So
Perfect.
yeah.
Hey, all right. Would you like to go, Bridget?
Sure. I'm like, it's Easton's birthday tomorrow, so we'll be looking forward to that. He's going to be 5, so that's an exciting birthday.
And kindergarten around the corner? Or is he already in
well,
kindergarten?
no, since he's late birthday, next year.
Next year.
But he is going to preschool, and we're grateful for that.
All right, Cindy.
So I, like you, we are looking forward to hopefully our refrigerator coming in that we ordered in May. We've had a rental refrigerator since then. You guys,
It's crazy.
it's better than a cooler. So we'll see. And then I think I'm looking forward to planning something to look forward to.
I'm right there with you. I need a trip to look forward
Yes, time to look forward to something.
to. Yeah. Sharon?
Thanksgiving. I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving, just because it's such a family time and a sweetness there. I also always look forward to the fall, but I took a fall ride yesterday, Flaming Gorge, and it was absolutely beautiful. And I thought, I'm looking forward to also winter. I love the snow, not necessarily the cold, but the beauty of this world is unbelievable. And I have a new appreciation for that.
Oh, good. I love that. Okay, and so remind me of your first name?
I'm Sharon also.
Yes.
And I was gonna say, I actually too am looking forward to Thanksgiving because we have, I have 6 children. I have 5 married and 7 grandkids. Anyway, we're all gonna meet down here in Salt Lake for Thanksgiving because I now have 2 of my sons live down here with their kids. And so I'm really excited to get us all together because it's kind of hard to get everybody together now that they're, all have
Yeah.
families and things too. So anyway, so that will be really fun.
All right.
Family things.
Well, thank you everyone for sharing. So the title is Pressing Toward the Mark. So what mark is he talking about? Is he referring to? Yeah, eternal life. He says pressing toward the mark is walking on the straight and narrow path which leads to eternal life. And so I love how he uses that word pressing though. Like it's not like we're just floating along and hopefully we can eventually end up where we want to end up. Like pressing is like an active word. Like, I mean, it takes effort. I mean, through like difficulties or, and it's hard. Like when I think about pressing, like I'm already tired. Like, I mean, it's like, oh, I'm so tired, but we got to keep pressing forward, you know? I mean, and just actively pressing forward. But he kind of, at the beginning, he shares a story about when he went to his first general conference leadership meeting and how overwhelmed and inadequate he felt. And he said, in my mind, there was a voice persistently repeating, "You do not belong here. A serious mistake had been made." And just as I was walking, trying to find a place to sit, Elder Jeffrey R. Holland spotted me, and he came to me and said, "Edward, it is so good to see you here." And he tenderly patted my face. And I felt like a baby. His love and embrace warmed me up and helped me to feel the spirit of belonging, the spirit of brotherhood. And on the following day, I observed Elder Holland doing the same thing he had done to me on the previous day, warmly patting then Elder Dallin H. Oak's face, who is his senior. And at that moment, I felt the Lord's love through these men we sustain as prophets, seers, and revelators. Elder Holland, through his kind, natural actions, helped me to overcome my self-centeredness and my feelings of inadequacy. He helped me to focus on the sacred and joyful work to which I had been called, to bring souls to Christ. And he, like the Paul of old, pointed me to press toward the mark. So I think we could all relate to feeling inadequate or like, is this a joke? Like I'm supposed to be here doing this, you know? And I love that just like through his natural, you know, characteristics and actions, he was able to point someone toward and to be able to do the work that he was called to do. We know that Heavenly Father often works through others. So how can we be like Elder Holland at times, pointing others toward the mark? Or how have others?
Just a lost child
Oh.
running out the doors.
Did I miss something? How have others been like Elder Holland to us and helped us point us toward the mark? Does anyone have anything they can think of, or even just like generally?
Well, I think by just showing up at church helps me press forward because I mean, obviously it's not super easy to come to church some weeks. I don't know what happened to our numbers. I even noticed in Sacrament that there were very few people. And I'm not saying, I mean, everybody's got things going on, but
And having the online option.
Yeah. And there's illness and I mean, you've got a kiddo home sick. I just feel like that is one thing that you have to press through, is sometimes to attend your meetings on Sunday.
And actively like
And
make the decision, even though
It-
tired, you have to get up early.
And please don't think for a second that I'm saying that other people didn't make that choice today.
No.
But it was hard to, like, today I was like, oh yeah, I can just watch it today. I was like, oh, it's release day. Christine's teaching. I'm gonna go
Thank
home.
you.
But you were seriously like, I'm like, Christine's teaching. Okay, I'm pushing through today.
Oh,
Like some days are just better than others, and I think being a part of this gospel, there's a lot of pushing through and people to guide you through. So if it's knowing that your friend's teaching, that might be what helps you through that day. Knowing that maybe, you have certain things going on helps you in your weekly things that you need to do, that you need to check on a friend or whatever it might be. Sometimes it's just this push of friends and neighbors that help you.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, sure.
I came across a quote by, it's just,
That's okay if you don't remember his name. What did the quote
Yeah.
say?
well, I'll give you the quote, maybe you'll remember it, but he talked about the fact that if you're going to enjoy anything in this life, you have to have gratitude. And he said, we all came into this life without anything, not even a clothes foot or that. And everything you have, as you sit here today, and being here, is a gift from God. And he said, but so many of us seem to focus on what we don't have rather than what we do have.
Yeah.
And he also talked about the fact that if you want to stay on the mark, you have to show that gratitude at all times, but be obedient. That's one of the first principles of heaven, is being obedient. And when you hear that voice, you better be obedient. So I thought it was just a wonderful comment, and I'll think of doing it.
No, I love that. And I actually the image that comes to me when I think about like pressing toward the mark. It's kind of like, I mean, you kind of have to have your eye on where you want to go. Because, as you guys know, I'm a teacher, and it's so funny, students, like, when they're, like, talking to their friends, and all of a sudden, like, in line, and it's like, hello, watch where we're going, and everyone's crashing into each other because nobody's watching, and it's like, and they even say, like, in sports, like, Jack plays baseball, and his coaches are like, don't you look at where you hit the ball when you're running to that base, you look at the base, or you won't get there as fast. You have to look at where you're going in order to keep getting there. And I think that helps so much with feeling grateful and being able to look at your blessings. It helps turn your perspective to where we want to go instead of focusing on all the difficulties and hardships, because we all have both. Thank you. And I even think just small gestures, I know it was mentioned in several of the testimonies today, of just like a text or, a hug or a conversation helps those people are being like Elder Holland and helping, us direct us back toward the mark. I know for me, just a conversation that somebody didn't even realize I needed, and they say the perfect thing that I need to, let go of, some bitterness or anger, or be able to forgive somebody, or, I read an article in Psychology Today about helping others, and I just want to share it because I thought it was really interesting, because we all know that research has proven that when you do service or when you contribute to a charity or anything, that it really psychologically it benefits us when we do those things. It releases those chemicals that are the same, and doing things that we enjoy. But in this one, it said recent research suggests yet another way our well-being can benefit from practicing pro-social behavior, which is helping others regulate their emotions, helps us regulate our own emotions, decreases symptoms of depression, and ultimately improves our emotional well-being. Said our day-to-day lives offer plenty of opportunities for regulating our own emotions. When we are happy, sad, frustrated, or anxious, we find ways of managing our feelings to meet the demands of our environment. At times, however, when the weight of our emotions becomes too much to bear, we turn to others for support. Social regulation of emotions is a key component of our relationships. Whenever we navigate children through tantrums, help a friend through a breakup, or even rely on our partners for comfort after a challenging day, we often engage in social regulation of emotion. Whether we are the ones providing the emotional support or the ones seeking it. The two most common ways to help others regulate their emotions are through acceptance, showing empathy by validating their feelings, and reappraisal, which is helping others think about their situation in a different way. A recent study from Columbia University has revealed that when helping others navigate their stressful situations, we are enhancing our own emotional regulation skills and thus benefiting our own emotional well-being. So I liked that. I mean, and sometimes it's hard for me to like ask for help, or I feel like I'm putting my weight on Reed or something. But now I'm like, well, hey, I'm just helping you become more, learn how to regulate your own social skills, But I love that. We all know that when we're helping others, we are helping ourselves. And I think it's the same by pressing toward the mark. Like when we're helping others, press toward the mark, we're helping ourselves get there as well. So yes, thanks.
Well, and I think we all need that, right? I think therapy is more prevalent. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, I don't know. But it's like a lot of people are reaching out for that because I think it's helpful. And whether you are with a professional or like for myself, just bouncing ideas off of my sisters and sharing ideas. A lot of times I do realize, like, as they're sharing their problems and we're talking through things, I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to them, and it is changing the way I think about things or the way I look at things, and it is helping me as much as it's helping them, and I think it does create that feeling of support, and also, it's good to have that safe space where you can be vulnerable and talk about maybe the things that are less perfect and less Pinterest worthy and more like real life kind of stuff, so I think that's very, very important. Sure.
I know, and I think it's funny. It's kind of like how do we, and we talked about it, I think, even in the last Relief Society lesson, but like, why is it so hard sometimes to like talk to other people about, what I mean? Hard things. And like, I remember Laurel said that she asked her husband, James, when he was the bishop, like, how do you know what to say to people? And he's like, I don't really say much. I just let them talk. And just by them talking it out, I might ask him a few questions to kind of direct the conversation, but so, what is it? So, I'm going to ask, so what are the things that prevent us from actually like asking for help and being able to communicate with people and get that help, or by helping others? Like, what are those things that are preventing us? And, Lauren.
I think like, for me, a lot of times it's just, I don't want to like put someone else out or like cause stress or like, I feel like if I'm asking for help, someone's going to have to like stop living their life to then like help me, and it like becomes a burden on them, even though I love helping other people, but it's like hard to, because you feel like a burden a lot of times when you ask for help for yourself, even though you're more willing to help other people. I don't know. That's a lot of times what, like, I'm just thinking about even asking my mom to like take my kids or something. I'm like, oh, but she's like so busy. She has all this stuff. I don't want to, where really in reality she'd be more than happy to,
And it helps her relationship with,
yeah,
you know, builds a relationship with her and your kids, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, cause I'm right there with you, Lauren. Like, I'm always like, no, I don't wanna bother them. Or like,
yeah,
if I ask, they're gonna think it's a big deal and it's not a big deal, but you know, but it kind of is cause it's stressing me out.
yeah.
Rochelle, were you gonna say
Yeah, I
something?
was just gonna say, I think we have grown up and conditioned ourselves as members of the church to be self-reliant. And I think it kind of brushes into emotional and the kind of things that we sometimes do need help with. But we're tough and we can back up and we're self-reliant, we can go through this. And it would be, it's probably true, we can. We'll eventually get through it, but sometimes it would be probably a lot quicker and more comforting to have a person there too at the same time,
And bring other blessings.
and bring other blessings in that, like a closer relationship. Self-reliance is an interesting concept that the principle that we teach in the church. So, I mean, I'm the person that will just say, oh yeah, what? Back surgery? No problem, I got this. Carla, you cook. I'll eventually be able to vacuum, you know?
Yeah,
Like it's just a thing that you just think we don't need people.
and I'm like, I'm tough, I can do
Yeah, you
it,
can do
like,
it.
yeah. And I
you should.
can.
Yeah.
But it's like, like you said, should we have to?
Thank you all the time.
And I liked this article though, because it helps kind of shift my perspective of like, if I'm asking for help, I'm actually helping you too. So I'm doing this for you as much as me, right? I mean, sometimes I need that rationalization. But yeah,
But that also, like, I think that helps create unity and bonds and, I mean, relationships. Like within a neighborhood, I feel like it's so awesome and I'm trying to do that in my own, like little part of the street. There's a lot of people I don't know, but I'm trying to get to know them because you can't really help someone that you don't know or you don't really see needs for help. But then when you get to know someone, I think in getting to know someone, then it's just normal to share things, and then you find out about each other, and then you understand like simple needs and simple things that maybe you can do to help, and vice versa. I mean, bringing in someone's mail while they're out of town, it's a very simple act that takes almost no effort, but at the same time, it's a little kindness and it's a little trust, right? Like I trust you, you trust me, kind of thing, and I've always felt like knowing your neighbors and having those relationships to me make me feel happy when I'm sitting on my porch and people are walking out of their houses and I can sincerely say hi because I know them as opposed to just being who's that stranger over there, the awkward things you're bringing in your garbage cans. But I'm like, I just think the service, it does bring that unity, which is so nice because we never know when we're really going to need help, right? And sometimes it happens in an instant when you're not prepared. And having resources and people to reach out to,
Yeah.
it's so vital. It's so
well, and I think especially in this last year and a half, we realized how much how important relationships are with people, with neighbors and friends and ward members and family and just, I mean, it's like that's what makes our life, that's like the goodness of living this life is our relationships and then when we ask for help or when we're willing to give help, it's fostering those relationships.
Well, I'm sorry, one last thing.
No, please don't.
But
Please
I
don't.
also think too, and maybe a Utah kind of mentality too, because the church is so prevalent, because families are so large. I think there's an assumption on a lot of our parts that everybody's got family, everybody's going to Sunday dinner, everybody's got those extended family members that they can reach out to, or that their lives are so busy and so full of family. Well, it's not always true, and so it's like ward families can be really important, and neighbors and friends, because sometimes that's the people that are really creating that rich relationship filled life for people. I think sometimes we assume, they're all right, they're so busy and they wouldn't have time to spend any time with me, but in reality, maybe they do need
Well, I think it's easy to make those assumptions almost about anyone, like, oh, well, they always look like they have it together, or
Yeah.
they, you know, or they're this, or they're that, they probably don't have any needs. Well, they have, you know, and it's like, but I think we all know that no matter what it looks like, everybody needs help and needs those relationships. Yeah.
It's just not a thought that I had.
Yeah.
Also, like one of the barriers to reach out for others and ask for help, I think it's always like overcoming that feeling, like because you're being vulnerable,
Mhm.
and that's a big one as well.
Yeah,
It's hard,
it is.
right? But at the same time, on the flip side, I feel like that's what brings us close together. You know,
Yeah.
because sometimes when you open up, and then maybe the other person is going through something very similar, and that's helpful for both in that case. So it's
Yeah,
up to
but
you
it is hard to
decide.
put yourself out there. It is.
Yeah.
You know, but I think if you have the right intentions and you do it with love, like even if it doesn't work out right away, I think, you know, either you planted the seed or that it will somewhere down the road, or maybe it did help and you just don't realize it because they're not ready to be vulnerable yet. I don't know. I'm kind of just thinking out loud.
Even if people are put together and can do everything and they do, there is no time that a kindness is not a good idea,
Absolutely.
right? Whether you're put together or not, whether you have everything figured out and it's all planned and you have family around or not, there's never not a good time to be kind and to show expressions of friendship and love. So, I mean, just the idea of judging where somebody is on their needs scale is, I mean.
Everybody needs.
Yeah,
That's the
it's
thing.
just
We
a
all
point.
need.
We could all use kindness. No one's gonna turn that away. No one's gonna reject it or think, well, that was stupid. I don't need you. You know?
And it doesn't have to be this extravagant
No.
thing either. It can just be a conversation or a hello or how are you doing? I mean, Elder Holland in here, it wasn't some grand gesture.
Not on the cheek.
And it wasn't anything that he thought like, oh, I'm gonna go in and look for who's struggling here. It was just who he was.
Yeah, it's for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I love about it. And so this other part of it, he said that in his talk, he said, Paul is exhorting us to press forward while calling us to forget which is behind our past fears, our past focus, our past failures, and our past sadness. And that kind of really struck out to me because I feel like so much we're called to remember. Like, remember all these things. And then this is like, no, forget about the past and just keep looking forward. So that's why I kind of had that image of like Jack running his bases. Like, look at where you're going. Don't look at where you hit the ball. Look at the base you're running so you can get there fast. And I found another article about this that I thought was really interesting about the psychologist wrote this article, and he is the child of 2 Holocaust survivors. And he said, I am the child of 2 Holocaust survivors. In addition, I grew up getting to know perhaps 24 other survivors. And because I lived at home through my college years, I got to observe them not just when I was a child, but as a young adult. Some of the survivors managed to triumph over the years of Holocaust tortures, the loss of family, and being dumped in the Bronx without a penny to their name. No English, no education, no friends. Alas, other survivors remained mired in sadness and suspicion of other people. No doubt their individual character and early upbringing had an effect, but it also seemed clear that the survivors that spent lots of time looking back, talking about the Holocaust, attending Holocaust remembrances, joining survivor discussion groups, and processing their Holocaust experience in therapy were on average sadder. Survivors, including both of my parents that were able to move on and live full work lives, social lives, and have good relationships with their children and friends, spent little time on that. Yes, they believed it's important to never forget, but focused on moving forward. In my dad's case, it was working in a factory in Harlem and saving up so that he could move my mom and my sister and me from the Bronx tiny apartment next to the train roaring 24/7 to the apartment in blue collar Queens where I spent most of my childhood. In his limited spare time, he was an avid gardener and cartoonist. My mom focused on being a good homemaker, cooking, cleaning, throwing parties, and looking good. Her clothes, jewelry, hair, and makeup were always perfect. I sensed that both of them lived the life that they wanted to live, not constrained by their horrific Holocaust years. Of course, these are mere impressionistic reactions. Other than my parents, I don't really know what those other Holocaust survivors were like behind closed doors. But I can, with more confidence, assert, based on my work with 5,500 career and personal coaching clients, that the more time I've allowed, let alone encouraged clients to revisit past iniquities, what their parents or sibling or spouse, society or boss did to them, the less likely that they have been able to move forward and the more likely to remain sad, a victim, and externalizing responsibility for their current bad work and personal life. So in the initial session with my clients, I usually do start by inviting them to take a few minutes to tell me about their life's most influential experiences, during which I try to show full empathy. But after that, I typically move to helping the client develop a plan for moving forward. If a client then or later brings up some past ill treatment or personal failure, I usually try to quickly redirect the discussion forward. For example, I might say, I, of course, understand how painful that must have been. Is there a lesson to be learned that can help you as you move forward? Or I might even say, if my parents had beaten me nightly or even had been an axe murderer, I believe the ultimately most helpful path to greater success and happiness would be to identify my next steps forward. What do you think? And nearly always they agree. And if not, I listen empathetically to their re-explanation of their past resentment, but I move things forward as soon as I can. I don't have the audacity to assert that every person and that every helping professional should be discouraged from extensive processing of past ill treatment. Cliche though as it may be, at least in my practice and in my own life, I found that life is most likely to improve not by looking back, but by forcing oneself to take the next baby steps forward. Objects at rest tend to stay at rest. And I loved that because I feel like, you know, like sometimes we do get stuck on like what happened or like hurt feelings or things that we may have done that make us feel like we're inadequate or unworthy to move forward. But that we need to keep our eye on where we want to be. And even if it's baby steps, like take those things that have happened and learn from them, but then move forward, you know, so that we can find that happiness. Let's see, Elder Dube continues to tell a personal story about his mother when she was dying of cancer, and how Elder Dube was a witness to the pain that she was in and that she couldn't get relief from. All he wanted to do was take away that pain. And his mother gave the reply, it is not up to you or anyone else, but it is up to God whether this pain will go away or not. And his mother's reaction showed the faith that his mother had to accept God's will for her. And this led Elder Dube to reflect on our dear prophet, President Nelson's prophetic question to us in the last general conference when he asked, are you willing to let God prevail in your life? Are you willing to let God be the most important influence in your life? Will you allow his ways to take precedence over every other ambition? Are you willing to have your will swallowed up in his? That's tough. But I love how I feel like in the last couple months though, and even in some of Molly's lessons, how it's like, we always think we have this plan A or even plan B or plan C, but really like his plan, the one that like we didn't even think about, that may not be the easiest plan. is always the best one. It's always the one that like later you're like, glad that one worked out. We'll all have our challenges in mortality. It's like I started with, I think it's a thread that connects all of us, whether we're in Utah, whether we're this religion, just humankind, it connects us all. And but if we focus on the goal of looking ahead and pressing forward and being where we want to be and helping others get there too, because when we help others get there, we're actually helping ourselves get further up there as well. That's where we need to try to be to get over whatever is setting us back. And Elder Dube continues, my humble invitation to all of us is to never give up. We are called to lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. And I love the quote at the end, or the part at the end that he said, it's not so much about what we are going through in life, but what we are becoming. How will we react to hardships? How will we help others who are dealing with hardships? And that we can find joy in pressing toward the mark. And I think we can all agree it's not the joy that the world would define as joy, but that everlasting joy, that contentment, that peace, the essence of the gospel joy. As we press toward the mark, we can find that joy. That's all I have. I mean, I think I like this. I think it was a good reminder. And I think the conversations we have with people, I keep coming to mind. So I'm going to get a little emotional. About a month ago, I was sitting at a baseball tryout for Jack, and my brother came because he was helping me try to get Jack on this comp team, and his son plays baseball. And sorry, my brother is the greatest guy, but he's not active at all anymore. But he has the biggest heart, and I was struggling with my relationship with my sister, who's like my best friend. And she has been so standoffish, and we haven't talked much in the last year, and everything's very like surface when we talk. And my brother was like, hey, have you talked to Lynn lately? My sister. And I said, no. And I kind of mentioned she's been really surface with me. She won't really talk to me. And she just kind of shuts everything down when I ask her questions. And he sat there and he said, I think we can agree that Lynn has had more hardships than any person is ever supposed to have. I mean, she's gone through a horrific divorce from an alcoholic, and her daughter has some severe mental illnesses and has been in and out of mental hospitals trying to take her own life. And it's just a train wreck. And he said, I think if anyone should get a pass, she should firm in it. And whatever you need from Lynn, maybe you just need to find it somewhere else and give her a break. And I was kind of shocked, because we don't have deep conversations like this. We don't tell each other we love each other or hug each other or anything like that. And it was honestly exactly what I needed to hear. I was able to let go of the hurt I was feeling from me not getting what I felt like I needed from my sister. And I was able to just forgive her and just move on, and not that she even asked for forgiveness, but just cut her some slack and just realize if I need something that I'm not getting from her, I need to find it somewhere else right now.
maybe she doesn't have anything to give at the moment. And I am grateful for all the conversations that I've had in my life that help put me back and give me focus back so that I can press forward of where we need to be. And I know that we can't do it without each other. And so I'm grateful for everyone that has helped me. And I know that he who has overcome all will help us get there. And I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thanks, Christine. That was great. Really great lesson and great reminder, I think, to all of us. Really appreciated your lesson and the spirit that was here. For all of us that are here live and those that are watching us on YouTube. Appreciate everyone being here. We'll just go ahead and close with a prayer. Sharon, would you mind giving us a closing prayer?
Our kind Father in heaven, we are so grateful for this beautiful Sabbath day and the messages that have been given to us. We thank thee for our testimonies of the gospel and the sisters that we can share our love with one another and being willing to serve each other and those that are around us. So we ask thee this day that we will find ways to serve and be willing to always be willing to serve others and be grateful for all the many blessings that are ours. So we pray for this day humbly in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
Use the picture.